Hi guys. So anyway, I hope the volume is good, everything is good. Oh, no, 1 second. Okay. I think the volume should be on now. Let me know if you can't hear for some reason. Okay. Cool. So, okay guys, so it's funny. Somebody mentioned my my look, whatever. So I've been thinking about since yesterday. It feels like so much happens, but it was just yesterday. I mentioned something in the video about how it can be. Sometimes I feel the weight of dark, all these dark subjects. All these people are so dark and so heavy. But my weight is to watch RuPaul's drag race. It's called RuPaul's Drag Race, and it's a show. If you're not familiar with it, it's a drag queen competition. So it's like they're so amazing, they're so talented, and so I felt like when I first watched it, I was like, oh my god, I have no excuses. I'm already a woman. It takes them a long time, because they're men, so they have to transform. So it's like at least I was born a woman, so that. Anyway, so now going to serious subjects, maybe Kushner could watch. He'll be a contestant. In 10 years, you'll be like, you've seen me before. I used to be on the news a lot. But no, but I feel, I don't think they deserve, I don't think that anybody deserves the company of Mr. Kushner. Anyway, but I find RuPaul very inspiring, especially this time. So anyway, so that's kind of my way to counterbalance the whole darkness thing. And I've been thinking about this for a while now. Like somebody suggested energy techniques and so forth, because I feel like it's important to address these subjects, right? I don't want to like not talk about them, but it's hard to find one half decent person among all of the readings, right? So I feel like I'm going to be exploring ways to maybe like I need some energy, like do some of my own energy work. I used to do Reiki, so go do it on myself, so that it's like less, those dark subjects. Anyway, so today, I just want to close here, getting notifications. So anyway, so today I wrote earlier, I wanted to focus on money laundering, just because there's several news that came up, and money laundering are, it's a fascinating subject, and it's also very dark, because if you think about it, right, like what is money laundering in terms of this investigation? Money laundering in terms of the investigation is the truth, because if you can trace the money, then you can really connect everything, right? So, and before I get into the money laundering, before I get distracted and start the full reading, I also wanted to say that yesterday, yes, there was the outing with Patreon, and so I did two things. I feel it's like embarrassing to admit this, but I had not downloaded your email addresses. So now I have your email addresses. So if anything happens in the future, I will email you and let you know what's happening. A. And B, I'm on Twitter, and I don't love chatting or whatever on Twitter. I'm always like retweeting and yelling at people in the administration. Not a lot, but a little bit. Okay, so I have now I'm at Terror Politics, the same, at Terror Politics. I just changed my name, but it's not. I don't talk about terror or anything. It's just there. That's where I am. But basically, I thought, you know what? If I had a Twitter, people know where my Twitter was, then I could have announced it there that everything it was down. But so it was kind of like a moment of panic. So anyway, alrighty. So now go back to the money laundering. So guys, today there was a bombshell. Okay, there was a bombshell in the news about money laundering, which was that the Mueller, the FBI. So the FBI is investigating the NRA, because, and this is like, I was like, whoa, I knew that I hadn't heard about this before, but so the guy who funnels money, there's a Russian guy, I don't know his name, basically out of the top of my head. I linked on Patreon, I linked the article that you can read it, but basically his job in the Russian government, he's the governor of like the central bank, like he's a very high level banker person in the Kremlin, in the whatever Russian government. And hello, he funnels $30 million into the NRA, and the NRA then pays the Trump campaign. So what the FBI is investigating is if Russia is using the NRA as a means to funnel money into the Trump, what is it called, campaign. So it's like, it's shocking to me because, I mean, I guess I wasn't paying attention, but like, hello, this is like a huge person. It's like so huge to me. I was like, oh my God, I don't even know if they can prove that this person is basically going on there, okay, and like transferring money, like millions of dollars into the NRA, and the NRA itself is making the donations, then hello. Okay, what else? And you know, one thing that that connected for me that I didn't quite understand is like, you know how people ask like, oh, why are the gun laws? Why can't people like remove the gun laws or whatever? Because the NRA is so powerful, obviously they have so much money, but it's also that part of the deal for people who take Russian money must be that you have to keep the gun laws. You know, I understand the gun laws a lot of times is related to the, like a lot of conservative people are into the gun laws, and I understand that I'm not necessarily super ultra against it, but I think they radicalized it in a way that they make it so that like, yes, exactly. It's almost like they kind of lower the level so that everything is about being radical, almost like, oh, we have to have our guns and kill, like, you know, all this stuff as if that were, and like I said, I understand it. And I don't think that it's, I think there is probably a room somewhere for flexibility, but not if that organization has been basically owned now by like Russia's platform or whatever, right? So anyway, so that's one question about, that's just one part about the NRA. Okay, because I wanted to tell you about the other questions that I'm going to address and how other topics are going to come in. So the other topic is somebody wanted, and I forgot, I don't know if it was Terry, someone had asked if Trump was going to, like, if the government was going to, like, if the Mueller investigation goes on and he's found to be guilty, is the money, is going to lose his money, okay, through asset forfeiture, something like that. And I looked a little bit, I did a little bit of research before, like a couple of hours ago about this. And it's inconclusive to me what the actual laws are. I think it's probably a case by case basis, but what I can ask is if what's going to happen to the Trump money? Okay, it's a very simple question. What's going to happen to the Trump money if he's found guilty of money laundering and so forth? Okay, one. And then another question that someone asked, Ted had asked something, whether Mueller would be able to trace all the Russian money filtering into the US to go into the election. Okay, so basically, essentially, we can also ask if will they be able to trace the money, all the money, basically to make will they be able to make the financial connections? Okay. Or how will the financial connections lead to Trump's? Because yeah, the majority of the money, because if you trace the money, then you trace the connections. Okay, so there's a complicated web of questions. And another important question is about Wilbur Ross. And I've linked these articles on my Patreon page. The article I wrote, the post about today, basically. So Wilbur Ross, the Secretary of Commerce, he is in the board of some bank in Cyprus. Okay, and who else is in the board of directors? Putin's son-in-law. Okay, so basically, the Jared Kushner of Russia is in the same. It's like he has a close relationship with Wilbur Ross, who's the Commerce Secretary. Okay, so there, you know, if you connect these things, it's almost like it starts to feel like it's actually a very small club. Okay, I mean, obviously, I am not a specialist in any of these things. Okay, it's probably very complicated, money laundering or whatever, figuring out or tracing back people. But like, so, and the other thing that's coming up a lot is how a lot of people would buy Trump condos, and this is, honestly, I don't know if it's illegal. It's just if it's an oversight thing. Like there would be movements. There was another thing that happened today was that the Fusion GPS, the second testimony was I don't think it was leaked. It was just released. when he went on and did the interview in the House. So he talked about how the pattern of buying and selling condos through lots of Russian. Oh, and then, oh my God, I can't even. Let me just finish this sentence. So the pattern of buying and selling condos through Trump's properties by Russians was very suspicious of money laundering. And then another thing, okay, this guy's crazy. So there's just some guy with a shady name that starts with T. Oh, that's right. I don't think, okay, so Gorka, okay, so I'll just finish it. So basically, like some hardcore, like mobster person had another office in the Trump Tower. So that's the third. The Gorka, I don't know, honestly, Gorka is connected to the right-wing Hungarians. Okay, so we'll see about Gorka later. But let's try to, I think I want to focus now on the money laundering questions, because it's one of those things that I think there's momentum to talk about it. And it's a little bit boring if we just ask. So I think we could just start asking, will the Mueller investigation be able to trace the money trail that connects Russia to Trump? Like regardless of the, regardless of the, the obstruction, right? It's like, I think this is a big question, because I think one thing they probably already have him. But the other more serious thing is the money. Will the Mueller investigation be able to connect the money trail between Trump and Putin? Okay, I think that's a very simple question and one thing that we can get started on. Okay. Okay, so the question is, will the Mueller investigation be able to connect the money trail between Trump and Putin? Will the Mueller investigation be able to have evidence, concrete evidence that will incriminate Trump by showing the money trail, okay, between Trump and Putin? That's the first question. So will the investigation be able to connect the money trail between the money trail that connects Trump campaign to Putin and Russia? Okay. All right. Okay. So at the center, we have Trump, actually, and the conversations or meetings. Okay, you know what I'm thinking? This is just the first set of cards. This is a central card, but I feel like, guys, this reminds me of recordings. I wonder if they have recordings of him talking or something, because I had read rumors of this, okay, somewhere. Just getting it, taking it, okay. Look, the last card. Woo! My favorite card. Yeah, oh Lord. Okay, oh my God. Okay, so guys, so interesting. So here we have, oh my God, sorry. I'm gonna push it out a little bit further so I can get more room here for the card. So here's the, okay, so Wheel of Fortune upside down. So things were not going too well for him, okay, for Trump. And then here's the child. Oh, 1 second, I'm just kind of lower the light a little bit. So you have here the Wheel of Fortune upside down. And then we have the child. So that's Trump. And in a way, you could also, we'll see how it develops with the reading. So we could see if this could mean that it's bad news, things looking bad for Trump, or that Trump's job was to turn things down, like to create misfortune in the world. Okay, this is the first card. So it kind of relates to the past or the context. And this is the Hierophant. So it's a group of powerful people who are the bosses. So a group of powerful people. So you know what I feel like Trump is, there's all these powerful people behind Trump. And this is illicit, probably illicit money. It's also a card of something coming irregular. Oh, you know what I'm thinking, guys? I remember this came once, but I feel like this card, this is the card of Stork, which is positive change. Okay. And I think this card has come up a lot for me for the Trump investigation. And I think what this means is transfer. Because, you know, if you think about it, if you think of like you move, but you move money, moving money around, it could also have this context. Okay. So this is something that happens almost too regularly. Okay. So it could be that they're regular financial transfers, almost like a clockwork. Okay. Yes. Terry asked if the bear signifies Russia. Well, a lot of people ask, but in the context of this reading, it does not, because the bear is a kind of an important card in the Lenormand, in the sense that it's a card that relates to personal finances, also to women, and to positions of power. Okay, so it doesn't. I don't think it relates to Russia. It could also be Terry. You know what? Maybe it could help connect. But there's two cards that we associate with Russia that I do, the lady and also the ship. The ship is generally foreign, but basically, so there's almost like it'll be too many cards that relate to Russia already. But I think in a way, in the context of what we're seeing, it kind of like reinforces, right, the whole Russian thing. So I feel like in a way, it could also mean that there's like almost like illicit transfer of money or something like that. Okay, so just in here, I'm just gonna and I feel like I'm oh, here's the clip. Yeah, I feel like what I'm seeing here now with the Hierophant in the back of, it's almost like I feel like it's like Trump was anointed to be their guy. And they're transferring the money, like they're transferring the power to, like, not transferring the power, but like, if we look at it, just paying attention to the Lenormand. So here's the child, the new guy, the new powerful guy, or I think he is just Trump separately, and the guys here, the powerful people, and the transfer. So in a way, they say, okay, he works for us, so we transfer money for him. Okay, so there was kind of like a pretty regular thing or regular schedule. It's almost like, I'm trying to think, like, basically it's almost like he's an employee of theirs. Like he does their job, like he does their bidding. Okay, so they make that work by transferring money. The money is what makes them their job. Like, you know, I'm sorry, makes him their employee, right? Because that's what proves that that's what he gets. Okay. And here's another very clear card of, I've said this before, the quid pro quo card. It's a kind of like a card of, sometimes it can be of financial assistance, but a lot of times it's basically, especially in this context, right? It's very quid pro quo. It's like, you do something for me and I'll do something for you. It's not free, basically. And this is a card of a lot of money. So it's a quid pro quo relationship. And so I had showed before that here we have the conversations about money, meetings about money. Okay. This is going to come into place a little bit later, and then you have at the bottom, we have judgment. judgment of Dotard's right here. So I think what this means is that this figures into the judgment of Trump. Okay, this money, this conversation, meetings about money are taken into consideration. Okay, and here, okay, so money, conversations about money. This is the birds. So affect the older man. Okay, so I reinforces the idea that the thing I had seen before, which was that I wonder if there are recordings. I really do. And I think I've seen this before somehow. I don't know. I don't remember which reading. But anyway, so let's go to the future. And the future is very clear, definitely. I pray that justice. I pray for justice. Okay, that's all. So, okay. So guys, so this is, oh, look, we're happy. Everybody's happy. I wonder who's happy. We are happy. Okay. And this is a card of, I think, this is a card of reputation, but also something becoming famous or something becoming known. Okay. And then we have great cards that we're all going to be happy about to see. Heartbreak. Oh, look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Look, guilty. Oh my God. No, I'm so sorry. You're guilty. Are you sad? Are you really upset? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. So yes. Jen's saying they're so arrogant because the lawyers always got them off. They haven't met Mueller. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, so Diane's talking about the inflated prices. Okay, so okay, so this is and I think could be that America is like heartbroken because I think what, finally the whole truth comes out. And you know what, this is, oh my God, I get goosebumps. Please. Okay, so this is kind of like a great thing, guys. So this is a card of sun. Okay, it's also happiness, but I think it's like everything comes out. That's what I get because boom, we have the scythe. So everything comes out and heads are rolling. Okay, woo. Cheeto going down the hill. Cheeto going down the hill. Cheeto, like, I don't know. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. Oh my God. So thank you, Diane. I'm going to continue and then I'll go back to your comments. Very nice. Very nice. As people like the group. Okay. So guys, so you know what? Like this is like, okay, the combination, I'll put these together. Okay. So the combination of the place in the world, and I have to show you the multiple combinations because this is significant. Okay. This reading is significant. And okay, so this is like position in the world. Okay, place in the world, how you are known in the world. Guilty. So your place, you're guilty. Okay, and then through this guilt, there's an ending. Okay, so oh, hugs. Oh, guys. Oh, okay, hi. Okay. Anyway, so okay, so yeah, so basically there's celebration because I think he's found to be guilty. There's also, like I showed here, the heartbreak because I think people realize how the extent of everything, and there's an ending because the sun, I think, very clearly shows here that the sun means everything. People are happy, but also that things come out, and then the scythe comes. Okay, Cupid's like, yeah, sorry, oops, move along, moving along, move along. So I think, okay, so basically, yeah, I feel like the configuration of these is very clearly like it's going to say that he's guilty. Now, I'll show you more of the other connections that are, I think, important here. Okay, so because I kind of love this part where you look at how the cards are connected and next to each other in different contexts and how that informs the meaning. So this is, I'll show you, this is the, like, what's unconscious. Okay, so basically I think also what's yet to be known. So this is like a showed before in the first column, which is the context, I think, and this is the money, right? Knight of Pentacles, money, regular transfers of money. I just see it like this, okay? And then we have because this is the bottom row, right? So it's like you have right next to it, you have the judgment of the older man. So regular transfers of money figure into the judgment of the older man, and everything comes out, which leads to an ending, okay, to him being cut. So that's great, I think, okay, because it basically means that, yeah, his head is going to roll, and this is going to affect how his judgment happens, okay. And another thing that I think, and this is actually maybe the most important connections, because the second row means the situation. What is the situation? Okay, so if I put these next to each other, it's saying this is okay. So these are the powerful people, right? Group of people behind the scenes. And this is another card of finances and power. So it could also even mean bankers, actually. You know, oh my God, it connects to that guy, because the bear sometimes is a person who's a boss, is also a banker, okay? And this is Dotard having a meeting or having a conversation, okay? So Dotard has a conversation with these powerful people, possibly powerful bankers, okay? And this conversation leads to guilt. Okay, so that's very clear. It leads to heartbreak, I think, to us, right, to the public, but it leads to guilt, okay? And it's interesting because then here you have the misfortune of the child. And I think what it shows here is that ultimately, okay, the reason I think why this is significant, that it's upside down, the Wheel of Fortune, it's because when he started off, he didn't have any money, and we all know that no banks wanted to give him money, right? Because it explains that no banks wanted to give him money because he was in debt and he whatever had these problems. So then next to it we have the quid pro quo. So then he found a quid pro quo relationship here that provided a lot of money, but it was based on certain conditions, right? And then that's how his reputation was made. And it's interesting because it's saying like his position in the world is basically a result of quid pro quo agreements, okay, is his debt with these people, okay. So so anyway, so that's that. And I think you guys, so that's the part about the question. If it definitely they will, and I think because like I said, the conversation is here, I feel like it's not a piece of paper, because you know how, for example, the letter or the book, or there's other ways that communication can be described, but because you have the bird, I think it's significant that it could be a recording of a conversation, okay? And I remember reading something about this in Twitter, like that there were recordings or something like that, okay? But basically, I think here, what I am getting is that they could have recordings, okay, of him talking about money with them, okay, and have regular and these regular deposits connecting everything, okay. So, and then if we look at the diamond pattern, we see that it's a 4. So a lot of money leads to guilt, and affects, basically it's a different order, but everything could be applied. So affects the judgment of the older man because of his relationship with powerful people that essentially gave him this money. So if, however way you read this, you see the guilt on every corner, basically, okay? And then when you look at the corners, which is the essence of the readings, like the older man, regular financial transfers, his position in the world comes to an end, okay, here. So yeah, older man, regular transfers, position in the world comes to an end. So guys, so that's it, okay? So that's one, that's what it's saying. It's very, very clear that yes, they will be able to trace the money, probably through recordings, okay? And that's going to lead to one of his endings, because I think, okay, every day, guys, somebody had asked, I think it was Jen, like, oh, do you know the whole thing about the guy from Azerbaijan? I think it was one country, Uzbekistan. I don't remember exactly which country, but the other day he met with this guy, and apparently the guy was convicted of money laundering in this country, and the way he would launder money is buying from properties. Like, that's just one instance. Like, there's just so many instances of like this guy, you know, and his whole life has been corruption. So it's not like, it's one thing when a person like did one thing and has one secret, but basically this guy, his whole life is like this. Okay, so I'm sure like we barely know. Okay, so that's the situation. So that was one answer. That was very good, very clear. So oh my God. Yeah, I don't think you guys are, somebody was a Jen saying, would be funny if he was a recording Trump made. He's known to have recorded everyone for, but no, I think, you know what I'm getting, guys? This is like high intelligence recordings. You know how they record? I think, you know what I'm getting? Image of that ambassador, Sergei Kislyak, or somebody like that. You know, they record like intelligence or services. I don't know how to do it, but they record like their conversations with those kinds of people, high level people. And different countries, apparently different countries have these. I've read this also. I remember something sounds familiar, like other countries have these recordings as well. Okay, so it's like, that's how they do it. Okay. And okay, so that was a question about whether they're gonna, yes, they're going to be able to trace this money. Now we have, okay, the question of, since, I mean, we could continue with the subject of Trump, or and ask if he's going to lose his money. What's going to happen to Trump's money, and like the money that will he lose everything? Okay, will the family lose everything? What's going to happen? Do you want to ask this question, since we're talking about if Mueller finds that Trump's money is illegal in some way? Okay, because I was trying to look into this and I saw that something about one of the ways they're trying to get, what's his name, Manafort, is by saying that he laundered money. Okay, so they can take his apartments or whatever. Okay, so I don't know what else he has, but you know, stuff like that. So they can just take it because they're like, oh, look, it's illegal, you know. And also, like, imagine if you, let's say that you made whatever $20 million from these like consulting things, okay, and you never declare this money, and now the IRS could be like, by the way, let me take that apartment, I'll take this, I'll take that, and I'll take, it's like, they could do, essentially, when you're in this situation like that, you could like get, you know what I mean? You like, and I think it was Cynthia, she was asking something, I think it was yesterday, about money laundering and losing money. Yeah, I think it was a question about Melania and the son. Yes, and she said, well, but what about how is she gonna lose money? And I feel like if the money you had, you were rich, right? Let's say like what's his name, Madoff, like, yeah, you had a lot of money, but the money was stolen or wasn't yours, then the money goes and you don't inherit anything, you don't have anything. It's all temporary. I mean, it's so weird, guys, because I feel like, and I don't want to be like, you know, religious or whatever. It's not about religion, but I feel like everybody knows that when you die, you go, like, you don't have anything. Okay, you meet the Creator if you believe that, and or not, or whatever you believe in, you know. But sort of like, can't you tell that, like, what's the point of like all this like greed? You know, it's like, just, it's upsetting, you know, when you think about it. Like, you go through all this. Why? You know, because basically all, I think a lot of people have said this too, I think he's going to lose everything. It's like, as you know, easy come, easy go, is going to get taken away, you know. So that's what I already think that. Anyway, so let's see what happens. What happens to the money, like to the abundance of the kids? Okay, that basically, because I think there's a lot of different shell companies, and there are all these, not just shell companies, but like the kids must have different LLCs, different, you know, there's different ways of stashing the money. So what is going, if Trump, yes, 500 companies. So basically, if Trump is found guilty, okay, what happens to his money? Okay, yes, exactly. Oh, millions, and then there's going to be all these like lawsuits. Okay, so what happens to Trump's money? Not just him, but his family, anybody involved. Okay, so what happens to all these people, his family and their money? What happens to the money that Trump supposedly has if he's found guilty of all these money laundering things? Okay, what happens to that? If he's found, for example, because I think it's like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to try to close my eyes here. Focus. happens to Trump? Trump's money after the Mueller. Simple. What happens to Trump's money after the Mueller investigation? His and that of his companies and his children. Okay, so what happens to Trump's money? Oh, hi, Patricia. Okay, so Patricia is just asking, what happens to Trump's money after the Mueller investigation? What happens to Trump's money after the Mueller investigation? What happens to Trump's money after the Mueller investigation? What happens to Trump's money after the Mueller investigation? What happens to Trump's money after the Mueller investigation? What happens to Trump's money after the Mueller investigation? Oh, and the other thing, guys, I remember reading that there's like more than 1,000 lawsuits against Trump in the courts right now, something like that. I may be wrong, but I remember reading this. I was like, whoa. Okay, so what happens to Trump's money after the Mueller investigation? What happens to Trump's money after the Mueller investigation? And the other thing, I mean, it's just so upsetting. The whole thing is just, when I think about it, like, this is, I mean, how could anybody vote for this person? Okay, so you guys are familiar with the stories about how he never paid his contract. He would hire contractors to like build his houses and do stuff like that, do work in his houses. And then he would be like, oh, I'm sorry, the paint was wrong. And he would sue them and be like, oh, okay, I don't want to pay because you didn't do something right. Like he would pick on something and he would never pay them. So people lost their entire business, like their small businesses. Okay, for contractors, obviously you're not rich. Okay, they're not like swimming in dozens of millions of dollars, most of them. Okay, so he would do that to small people, people who couldn't defend them. So to me, that is so upsetting, guys. I'm sorry. Like, why? Like, I just can't. Like, seriously, people who are like in a very weak position, and he goes after them. The people, he knows that they can't afford a lawyer. He knows that they're going to lose their business anyway. It's just like, I cannot. I really, like, to me, that's just really so sickening. Okay. And so anyway, so that's all my rant. I just like, God have mercy. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's why I'm angry. It makes me so angry when I think about it because it's just so wrong. Just like, and I remember reading about one person who won a case against Trump, who's like a little guy somewhere like that, who's like, no, I'm gonna sue him because I want my money. And it took him years or whatever. Okay, like took him years and years to get like maybe, I don't know what, maybe $10,000. I don't know, actually more, but it would be like a big work. You'd be like, wow, look, I get this account and it's huge or whatever. But it's like he screws up the guy. It's so, I mean, I can't even. And the whole and let's not even get into the whole discrimination, okay, that he's been doing since the 70s and 80s, like racial discrimination. The whole, it's like, I can't even. Yes, he's made contractors go bankrupt. Exactly. It's just so, just like, it's like, well, he would even also sue big banks, like instead, because he was like, but he would sue them in order to avoid paying them. But it's just like, whatever. I just like, it's so upsetting. Okay, well, anyway, so let me just like think what's going to happen to his money. Is he going to lose his money? Okay. What's going to happen to his money after the Mueller investigation? What's going to happen to his money after the Mueller investigation? Yes, Patricia said exactly. He is simple, evil incarnate. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so what happens to Trump's money after? What happens to Trump's money after the Mueller investigation? Okay. Oh my God. Look, I was so happy. Look, person holding on to something, guilty. He's trying to hold on to it and he's guilty. Oh, woo, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The tower is falling apart. Oh, I'm so sorry. Couldn't have. Oh my God. Look. Oh. Oh my God. Look, falling apart. There's a lot of money. The money is falling apart too. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oof. There we go. Okay, so holding on. So basically here is like a person who, like this is like the greedy person, but I think it's like a person who wants to hold on to guilty money. So like he's guilty, basically. It's saying in the center he's guilty. So it's, the other interesting thing is that the money, this is also karma. So it's also, it could be that the money that he has is guilty money, dirty money. Okay, this could be an interesting meaning. Okay. And then now this is interesting, guys. So this is a little bit bullying or like something like that. Okay. And then this is a card of a deal. Okay. It's almost like also a deal, aggressive deal to, and this is like to turn. And I think this could also mean not just the Trump Tower, but the country. I've said this before, when this card comes up upside down related to Trump, it's like this is a lot of money. So he got a lot of money to turn the world upside down. Okay. Like literally. Okay. So basically, like he's got a great deal to like turn the world upside down. And I think it's obviously this money is what is going to also turn upside down like his own. And this is a death because when things are looked at, okay, so once everything is looked at, then there's like an ending. Okay. Now I feel like, so this is a person getting public rewards and an expansion. And I think this could mean also that could also be related to the investigation, okay? But I think it could also mean that his election, like his expansion or his success was a result of a deal, a corrupt deal, because I'll show you the other cards. Like right below here is that his success or his public recognition is a result of dirty money, okay? Because right here you have the Emperor card. Okay, that it could be Putin actually, but it's basically a man obviously in a very powerful position, and this is a gift. Okay, I think here is a financial gift. Okay, because it talks about money. This reading is about money also. So if we look at it like one card with the other on top of the other, then we have here expansion. That was like the expansion made him guilty because of the gifts that he received. Okay, so basically his success comes from dirty money. Everything he comes from dirty money. And now the wonderful last column here we have, ta-da! I feel like I said before, this card also relates to prison. It's one card that relates directly to prison and corruption and theft, corruption. So because of the corruption, he gets cut. Okay, the scythe here. And I've said before, this is like, I think this is also the Empress. I've said before sometimes that this could be the country, because you see how like plentiful it is and how rich. Okay. And I think it could be that he's cut from the country, hopefully. And this is like I feel like this is a decision that basically like makes things better. And I wonder, sometimes I feel like I'm kind of intrigued by this card a lot. Like I have to look more into, I've done a lot of research on it, but basically I feel like this is like a good transition, the decision to create a better transition after he has a corruption. Okay, so what I get here is that the money is like, it's so weird. It's almost like if you think of a tower, like the tower is built out of dirty money. And the more we hear about the people who bought apartments in Trump Tower, they're all criminal. Like, I'm not actually making it up. Like, these are like all Russian mobsters have apartments in Trump Tower. Okay, so it can't just be a coincidence. Okay, so what I feel like is like his money and his name was built by Russians, basically. So if we look at it, and I shuffle the cards like a lot, but sometimes the cards continue, you know, the same place. And here is another instance. Okay, so I'll show you this. This is like, again, the money, like things falling apart. Okay, I think he also got the money to turn things, to break the world, to make the world fall apart. So this money makes him guilty. So it's guilty money or dirty money, which then leads to an ending, leads to him being cut. So basically the fact that his tower was made up of dirty money causes things to end for him. Okay. So, and then, like I said, I just another thing here on top. I think I don't think I showed this. So this is a deal. He had some sort of deal that enabled his winning, right? So it's like getting public recognition, probably winning the presidency. So the deal enabled him to win the presidency through corruption. Okay, so this is like also another angle of this. So then we have at the bottom, the death comes when all this stuff comes to light about the gifts that he got from this could be, honestly, could be gifts from Putin. Okay, could be Putin here or somebody powerful, and then he leaves as a result. He has to leave, and I almost feel like he's transferred out. Because, you know, I was like, I know this is like my own fantasy. I'm guilty of this. Because I always imagine that he's going to ADX Florence. And I'm like, he has to take a plane to go. Because I see this guy. I'm like, that's the plane that he's going to take to go over to ADX Florence. He's going to need to be transferred over there. He can't just drive to ADX Florence. Like, that's my imagination. I don't know what's going to happen. But, like, basically, even if it's not a flight like that, it means that things are going to get better. There's a page is turned. Okay, so and then, yeah, like I feel like, and then like I said, the other ways of reading the cards, it's like the diamond pattern here. You have the fish, which is a lot of money, leads to his success in the public eye. You know, this like large quantities of money, and then this success ends up being cut. Comes to an ending suddenly because of the gifts he received from the man, like from the powerful man. So those things are all connected, okay? And then at the core, like the core subject of the reading is a deal, corrupt deal that ends up, it's interesting, leads to something better once that basically corrupt deal and moving to something better once everything is discovered. Okay. So that's that, guys, for his money. Okay. But Diane, I don't think it's emoluments clause. I mean, obviously he's guilty of that too. Like emoluments, meaning like he gets the money and like, you know, but I think this is much more serious because this is treason. Like the problem with Trump, guys, like I think obviously we know that, but just reiterating, is that he got paid to change the foreign policy to the eyes of, like, to follow whatever Russia wants. That's different from like, okay, you know, you get me something and I'll whatever. But it's like the entire team is connected to Russia. They do whatever Russia wants. They're like basically a tool for Russia. Okay, so that's the real issue. On top of, I mean, he's committed so many crimes already, like all the, you know, all these payments or whatever. But it's just like, yeah, arms deal. Let's not even get started with this. Like how, you know, basically, and you know, I almost feel like they know, it's almost like on the one hand, I feel like they know that it's going to be brief because they're just so hungry at the pot. You know, they're just like getting everything. Like, you know what I mean? They just go, especially like, what's his name? Kushner. He's just so gross. Like he's, you know, he's out there like trying to get deals, trying to get money from Chinese people, and then Saudi Arabia, you know, just to pay off his debts. It's like they went so deeply into it. Okay, so yeah, so they're like, let's just grab. It's sort of like, you know, what's the word when like pillaging, right? Like when you they just would go to like pillaging countries they would visit. They're like, I'm gonna go over there and just take whatever I want, like because we can, you know. So that's what I think. It's like, it's just, I don't want to say that. I've said this so many times. It's so upsetting, but I feel like, and you know, guys, one thing I've been thinking a lot about, and I don't know how, I have to meditate about this, but like I'm kind of like thinking, I think a lot about this. I'm kind of fascinated by it, not fascinated in a good way, but you know how like there's this whole conversation about how these, especially the libertarians, they're like really anti-government, and now that these people are in the government, they want to destroy the government. That's what this whole thing is all about. And I think this is really shows that this conversation that like, oh look, the government is terrible, it's so incompetent, like, oh, it spends so much money, da da da. But then when they're in the government, they get private airplanes, they destroy everything. They just have contempt. They're criminals, you know what I mean? Like the whole conversation about how government is corrupt, spends too much money, blah blah blah. It's a bullshit. That's just because they want to destroy the government, and they do it, and they have contempt. They don't care. Like it's not like, it's one thing when they're like, oh look, I'm gonna, you know, the numbers are wrong, let's find ways to save money and stuff. It's not really honest, because when they go in, they spend everything. You know what I mean? Like Trump like has cost the government $100 million or something just for his trips. Like that's it. Like, you know, imagine if a person was really like careful about like, oh, you know, like imagine like a normal person was like, I'm so concerned about the spending in the government, I'm not going to spend any money, I'm going to fly whatever, like less, I'm going to, you know, there's ways, right, that you can save money. But the ways that what they're doing is like, they're just really not doing that at all. They just want to spend for themselves. They want to pocket everything they can. Okay, so now going back here, guys. So we did the question about the if Trump is going to connect the, you know, the money trail, A, and then B, the question about Trump's money. Like, I'm sorry, Mueller is going to connect, yes, and the Trump's money. Now, the last question, I think it's the gnarliest, but I think it's a question that we should address. And this is, you know what, the more I think about it, the more I feel like, guys, this is the end. And I feel like the reason, yeah, it's like a bad spy novel. Yes, because I feel like the reason why I feel like this is the end is when they publish this. I think this news, you know, the journalists get. I'm sure the Mueller's team is like, okay, this is what you should say next. This is the information they feed very slowly to the public, so that people start getting used to this. And so the news today of this very high-level guy in the Russian government feeding millions and millions of dollars into the NRA is huge, because the NRA then went and gave the money to the Trump campaign and the RNC also, not just Trump. So basically, this clearly implicates the RNC. Like this news now, it's like, what are you going to say? Like the guy is like the head of the central bank or something like that in Russia. He's out there giving money to the NRA, to the Republicans. Hello, what are you going to say? Oh, what a coincidence. Oh my God. Oh my God, whoa, that's crazy. Like, oh my God, no way, are you kidding? Like, hello. Because the fact that they are making this public is very significant. And that's what I think ultimately. That's why I think is like, it's like they're preparing something. They're preparing, you know, I remember reading this, that like, they start to like, sort of alert the public by publishing these news so that people are not shocked at once. Okay. So I feel like this whole thing is finally a connection where, oh my God, yeah, Cynthia's saying all the readings. Yeah, I don't know. So, oh my God, it's like crazy. It's crazy. So anyway, guys, so, okay, this is cool. Cynthia's saying, Rosie, you should write a book about your readings on this. Yeah, it'd be interesting. But you know what, I am doing something else, like animations about this. Anyway, long story. But basically, let's focus here, guys. Focus, because we have this big question now, which is the question about the NRA. Okay, so I think the question is like, will Mueller be able to show, this is kind of a big deal, because like, okay, will Mueller be able to show, I'm trying to think. Oh my God, yes, Cynthia, no, I love storytelling. You know, I know, it's true, it's true. It's just more like Cynthia is saying that I love storytelling and I should write a book, but no, but it's true. It's true. It's just like I'm trying to, so many things. I'm just trying to focus, guys. I just want to think about the question about the NRA and the money guy. Okay, so will this, I think the question would be, will they implicate, oh my God, guys, I'm going to, because we have to ask this question. Okay. Okay. The Russian guy. Yeah. So okay. I want to know if like this connection to the NRA, what is, maybe no, we should ask about the NRA. But I know that I feel like, because I feel like, you know, what I want to know is that because what I want to know ultimately, regardless of this news, is like, is this news about the NRA going to implicate and prove that the Republicans are connected to this whole thing? Because that's what I think. Okay. Yes. Will the connect, because, and I feel exactly, will the Mueller investigation be able to prove that this connection from this top Russian banker to the NRA, will this connection of Russia to the NRA, in terms of, will this financial connection with Russia, from Russia to the NRA, prove that the Republicans, including Trump, are connected? Yes, is going to be okay. So, because that's what I think. It's like, I think ultimately, if they can prove that this, I mean, because you know how like we were all like dreaming of like dozens of Republicans being charged, and I think this is it. You know what, guys? You know what I'm thinking? Oh my God, I'm glad. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that this is the moment they are telling us that lots of Republicans will be indicted. That's it. Because, you know, they're telling us, they're like, we found how the Russian money went in. That's what I think, okay? Because it's like, it's the almost like the NRA is a tool for them, because it's like, if you get, okay, I'm trying to get like hair clips to explain. This is the Russian guy. This is the NRA. He puts the money here, and then the NRA puts the money in the Republicans, not just Trump. So like, so hello, it's like it gets here. How does it, like, you know what I mean? Exactly. It's like this. Will this prove? Okay, so let's, you know, I'm gonna ask two questions. So will the connection from the Russian banker to the NRA? What would happen to the NRA once the connection to Russia is proved? What's going to happen to, okay, you know what? This is what I'm going to ask. What's going to happen to the NRA after the Mueller investigation, as a result of the Mueller investigation, one, and then two, will this guy prove that the RNC is connected? The RNC and Trump are connected to Russia, and get them. Okay, so this is like, I'm going to concentrate, because I'm going to ask two questions in the same spread, but it's good. It's like, so tell us about this guy, you know, this powerful Russian banker who funneled this $30 or $70 million into the NRA, which then funneled $30 million to the Republican Party and Trump. So tell us more, if what's going to happen to the NRA as a result of this connection discovered by Mueller. And then B, what's going to happen? Is this going to be the last nail in the coffin of the Republicans? Is this going to show that the Republicans are connected too? Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to be like, the Russian guy and the money and the NRA and the RNC, the connection here. So what's going to happen to NRA and how? And is this going to prove that the Republicans are all connected to this? This is going to be a proof. Okay, it's going to be a proof. None of the approved. Okay. So the question is, what's going to happen to the NRA as a result of the Mueller investigation? Okay. The NRA as a result of the Mueller investigation with this guy, okay, this banker guy. What's going to happen to the... Okay. So this is a card, and I think it's funny because this usually is a card that tells me about Republicans, because it's like the kind of people are unhappy, groups of people. And there's a man here. I don't know who this man is. It could be that banker. Okay. And then this is a defeat card. This literally is a card of defeat, and we're looking into the defeat, or maybe causing defeat. And this is like it was like muddled. They saw like a muddled, maybe a muddled opportunity. And this, oh my God, this is so literal, guys. It's a deal with the devil, literally. Like, so they made a deal with the devil. There was a deal with the devil. But if we look at these together, so I feel like what this says is that they saw, either they felt defeated or they wanted to create a defeat, probably for Hillary, and they saw this as an opportunity. So they made a deal with the devil, like literally, okay? So, okay, so that's interesting. Now, I feel like this is happy news. This is happy news. There's happy news. Maybe it's the news that came out now. Who knows? News of this man. Maybe it's like news of the man. The news that we're talking about exactly. The news of this man. Okay. Connected to the Republicans. Happy news is like key. And people are happy. This is a happy country. So this is key. The news of this man. The news of this man is key. Okay. The news of this man is key, I think, to the investigation, probably. And this is a person who's isolated, or maybe they're trying to isolate. This could be NRA also, because the question was really what happens to the NRA after, and Russia. So this is Russia, okay, again. And this is kind of perfect because, so this card upside down, I've said before, that's the card that shows up for people with like the bigots. I feel like this is kind of like the bigot card, or people who are nostalgia, like obsessed about this past that never existed, okay? And then like anchor. So in a way, Russia anchored itself onto this organization, right? That believed in like these like bigoted values, okay? through probably regular conversations or regular meetings. So here. Or it's also the card below here is money upside down. So it could be the regular fund deposits or something. Not regular, but this is meetings. So regular meetings. Russia anchored itself there through regular meetings. So essentially what it's saying is that they saw they were losing in some way. So they made a deal with the devil because they did not want defeat, okay, in top. And then here the news of this man connected to the Republicans, okay, because it's right underneath is key. Okay, it's key. So this is probably going to provide key or very important evidence of how Russia anchored itself through their old, like their bigoted values, okay? And they did that by having lots of meetings with them. So I almost feel like Mueller is going to find evidence of these meetings or like these conversations in some way or other, okay? And let me just detach and show more. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, here the man comes. The man comes with an opportunity comes through the man, or the opportunistic man comes and puts an anchor down through the value. So the connection is like also through they understood their values. So that's how they got there. Okay. And I see now, it's just an image that's coming to my mind. I see how Mueller is like going through every financial transaction that the NRA has. And they must have already subpoenaed the NRA, okay? So basically now going back to the deal with the devil, and it's key. The deal with the devil is key here to the investigation, and they have conversations. So it's possible that it's also like maybe they have records of these conversations, okay, somehow, because again, meetings and conversations. So that's what happens. Now let me say just what happened. Okay, what happens to the NRA's power after the Mueller investigation? Oh, I think, okay, this is interesting. So this is this like lack of harmony in the relationship, corruption. So there's a problem in the relationship. Their position in the world turns upside down because of a child. And I think here, you know what it is that the corruption of Trump. I feel like they become connected to Trump, like the corruption of Trump and their relationship to turning the world upside down. This is money, okay? Like, and upside down, I think, means wrong money or money gotten to, like, ill-gotten gains. So it's just saying that the corruption connected to Trump affects their reputation and their financial standing, okay? Because they may lose a lot. And that's it. Now, okay. Now, the other part of the question is whether this, and I think actually this first reading already addressed this, it gave the answer, but I think, but the other part of the question is whether this is going to affect the Republicans. Will this basically be proof that the Republican Party is connected to this financial money laundering of Russia? Okay, is this going to be used as proof? Is this going to be proof that, I'm trying to think how I organize this, but is this going to be proof that, just gonna, here. Is this going to be proof that the Republicans are somehow connected to Russia and or money laundering? Okay, is this going to be proof that basically could this be used as proof that the Republicans are guilty or are going to jail in some way or other? Okay. Yeah, Gladys asked, it would be awesome if the NRA loses its hold in politics so that we can have overdue gun control. Yes, I think, Gladys, I think that's what it showed, because it's like their reputation is affected by the fact that they are connected to the Trump corruption machine. Okay, so I think there will be consequences definitely to them, okay? From the cards anyway. It's not like, right? I mean, and it's interesting, I forget sometimes that somebody said, oh, you predicted this and that. I'm like, I forget that it's like quote unquote a prediction, because I feel like we're just talking and sharing stories, but it's true. It is kind of like a prediction. I forget about it, but it's yeah. So anyway, so the question was, will this prove that Republicans are somehow connected to this? Okay. And this is a card of money and the loyalists. So the loyalists are somehow connected financially. And this is the money tree. In a way, if you think about it, it's like the tree is about growth in life. So but I think here it literally means a tree. If you think about like what's the word? Diagrams. Like I love making diagrams and like different programs. So it's like a tree. It's not like a straight thing, but it's like how all the things are connected. So it's like the financial diagram. Okay. So the financial diagram and the expansion probably of the investigation is going to lead to an ending. Okay. I feel like the network of people. Okay, this is also a network of people who are connected to this financial shenanigans. Okay. And I think, again, I feel like this card now I see also as transfer of some sort, like a transfer or a interconnection of those plans that they're putting into place. Okay, so I think the role here of the GOP, I should have put it wrong. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, the networks of all these connections and the money transfers and the decisions to, you know what I feel like, kind of like, an electrical grid. That's kind of like the image I have, is like little lights connected, everything connected, kind of like shining and like bright stuff like that. Okay, so kind of something like that, like almost like they like connect. So they can finally connect everything. Okay, and this is a card of stars, card of hope. But when it's upside down, it means people who are away from their spiritual path, and we know that, and so they connect with the foreign power. Okay, so then this is, like I said, they're like away from their spiritual path, and then right below you have the dog. So I think what this means is that it's kind of disgusting to say this, but that's what the cards are saying. They are loyal to the foreign power, okay? Through money. Why? Because of lots of money. And this is interesting, again, that this card shows prison, okay? The card of prison upright and money. So I feel like it's going to lead to at least some indictments, okay? Because it's saying that they are loyal. If the central card means they're loyal, and this center column explains the situation. Basically, they are loyal to the foreign power because of money. Okay. Then this is like interesting because it's a card of making a decision. So public. Okay. So this affects the public or something, or oh, you know what? Oh my God, this is exciting, guys. I feel like something's gonna happen. I feel like something's gonna happen to the Republicans in public. Okay, something bad. Good for us, bad for them. Okay. And then this is like lovers. So I think this is soulmate connection. Painful. Okay, so because it's like there's going to be painful things happening to them because They are soulmates of the foreign power. And this is a card of literally a fool. So they took big risks with the election. This is a card of the election. Okay, so somehow all of this is connected to the election. Okay, now, you know, and Diane is saying here, I think many people would worship only. It's so strange, you know, how like they're such hypocrites, because they're like, oh, you know, we love religion, we love Jesus, whatever. Like, no, you don't. You don't. I'm sorry, you do not. Because it's like you have, I can't even get started on these people. It's like you're taking away healthcare of little kids, of senior citizens, okay? It's so disgusting that, like, I can't even, okay, just think about it. It's like disgusting. But let me just show more here. It's like, you know, guys, I was thinking about this, like, the things I watch, and explain this to me a little bit, like, so I watched the RuPaul, and I was watching, like, listening to an interview of RuPaul and Oprah, and she was saying how, like, these people, they're like, their vibrations are very low. And I also like, I mean, it's funny, I like these shows on like serial killers. The combination is strange, but like serial killers and like forensic files. And I think there's I feel like the question was like, oh, why are these people, like, they're like molested or whatever, and they can go on and like do horrible things to other people like that. Okay, so the question is like, why are these people? It's almost like, I feel like when they do evil things, they want more of it. Like they need the rush to like continue to create evil in order to maintain that level. Because I was thinking of the Trump administration. Okay, let's get real. What do they stand for? Nothing. They only want the good things for themselves. They are racist. Like at their heart, okay, what I think they're Nazis basically. They are haters. They hate people. They hate anybody who's not like them. They're extreme racists. Okay, and that's look at Jeff Sessions. Like, what does he have? Like, he's like out there going after people who smoke pot. I'm sorry. There's like countries are invading. Okay, like whatever. Like, there's all these like serious issues, and you're like, I don't know if the people smoke marijuana, whatever. Like that is like no. It's like so irrelevant to everything. I'm sorry. It's just so irrelevant. And then, you know, their policies are basically, they want to bring back like Jim Crow. That's their goal. And if you think about it, why is it that, like, you know, it's like so strange to me that they're just like following. They have nothing. They're so empty. That's what I mean. It's like they're so empty inside that they need to be filled with like hateful things, because they don't stand for anything. And if they stop and think about how bad the whole thing, like how horrible thing, like the horrible things they've done, they can't stop and think about it. So they try to like always blame somebody, or like, oh, you know, I hate like Latinos, I hate black people, whatever. It's like they just have nothing. They stand for nothing. They're just like a black hole, like a black void, okay, like of darkness, of like evil. And so I feel like they're constantly trying to find these like low vibrating things so that they can be on that level at all times. You know what I mean? Like they always are like doing bad things. So anyway, so this is why I feel like here, I'm just gonna go to this issue. Okay. So this is the group of people. Okay. The tree of people, and I've said this before. This usually is a card that shows like the tree. Also, it means in the connections. Essentially, the tree of people connected to the foreign power becomes public, and this is what I think, guys. Because remember, the question was like, is this going to finally prove the connections between the Republicans and the money laundering, Russian, whatever, stuff like that? And I think yes, because this card here is important. It's a card of society and something public. So I feel like something's going to happen in public and it's going to show them. Okay. So anyway, so that's just going to happen in public. And then the network, they're trying to, like, the network of the loyalists connected to money. It's almost like coming to an end. Okay. Is going to suffer pain, okay? Because they're such soulmates, okay? They're soulmates with a foreign power. So there's going to be pain to these people, who are their loyalists, okay? And then I feel like this is also a card of like I said, connections or transfers, and also taking away. I feel like, you know what? Oh, you know what, guys? Oh my God, transfers. This is perfect. Money transfers. Okay, money transfers here. Transfers of money related to the election. Okay, so basically, all these money transfers related to the election are going to come true. Okay. And I think they're going to, you know, it's funny because if you think of a whiplash, like they're going to be suffering in public pain because of the election, their role in the election. Okay. So I think there's going to be, I don't want to say a payback. It's difficult at this stage. It's too early to tell what's going to happen exactly. Okay. But I think now what it shows is that it's going to be painful for them in public, okay, because of everything that happened in the election. Yeah, exactly. Diana, say exactly. They can't be Democratic in the true sense. Like you can't. It's like has no legs. You know what I mean? And I was thinking, somebody said like something. I think it might have been Christy. Something about, and I was thinking the other day, what happened in history after Hitler, the Nuremberg trials, right? Like in the sense that it's like war. There was war and there's a lot of death, but after that, there were trials. Okay. So it's like, you don't get away with this, dude. Like they have this fantasy of like how, you know, everything's like, we're going to get rid of like all the Latino people. We're going to get rid of all the Black people. And it's like, it's going to be great or whatever. No, because it's like, they are like, you know, like parasites. They need they don't exist outside. They need someone's body to live. You know, they don't live on their own. They need to do that. Okay. I know it's true, Luciana, but basically what I mean is that there's like so yeah, exactly. So it's like you don't, like, you know what I mean? You don't get away with this stuff like scot-free anymore. Okay, so it's not like they'll be able to do that. But what I mean by that basically is not just that there's going to be trials. What I mean by that is that there's no, like, if hate is your goal, then war is the only outcome for them, right? They want to kill people. That's it. Because then justifies, it's like, I feel like, you know, think about it, war and crimes are basically kind of a externalization of hatred, right? It's like, oh, let's kill people because they're wrong, we're right. And it never ends well. I mean, there's never a positive end to this. So I feel like ultimately they're going to be found guilty of like at least assisting, from what the cards say here, for at least assisting and taking the money transfers. They're going to be, everything is going to be traced. Okay. So that's that, guys. And I was going to, you know what, I was going to ask, I think it's a little late now. I don't know if I should ask about Wilbur Ross, because Wilbur Ross is actually a big person in this world, right? Because I feel like, I don't know if it's too, yeah, I don't know if I want to, I mean, it's like, almost like it'd be, I think, you know what, guys, I think honestly, it'll be too long. Let's try to like, it's 84 minutes and soon it's going to be an hour and a half. And I think it's like, because, you know, the whole thing is like, I do 4 little parts. Maybe if I do it a little shorter or something, but I feel like I can't. Oh, maybe, you know what I'm gonna do about him? I wanted to ask this question, simple question about Wilbur Ross. Will he be found guilty of money laundering through the Mueller investigation? Like, will he be found guilty of money laundering? Maybe. Okay. What will happen to him as a result of the Mueller investigation? Because, you know what, like I said, I don't want to do the super ultra detailed one that I've been doing for everybody. Let me just do a general one on him that I've done. So I don't, he's like, yeah, okay. I don't know that who knows, guys, what's going to happen. I feel like Wilbur Ross, he's like 82 or something. I don't know that he has a lot of energy to go to a lot of places, but the one thing, oh my God, guys, I'm getting this, oh my God. I'm getting this like image. It's funny because I remember I was saying Wilbur Ross, and then I got this image of a photo that was taken when he went on that. Remember how they all went to Saudi Arabia in a trip? Okay, so they all went to Saudi Arabia in a trip, but Wilbur Ross is connected to these money laundering banks in Cyprus. So what I think is that he's the person, when they have a corrupt deal, he's the person who deposits their money. He knows how to like hide the money in like, weird accounts or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this is why they want him. Like whatever needs to be paid, he's probably like the treasurer or something like that. You know what I mean? That's what I feel. And I feel like, yeah, he's like out of everybody other than maybe Tillerson, he's probably the closest to Putin already. Okay, because like he's imagine if you were like very connected to Kushner, like like I said, the husband of Putin's daughter is also in this board. Okay, exactly. And Mueller has all of this. So yeah. So basically, and by the way, guys, apparently, this is like never ends. You know that one of Putin's daughters lives in the U.S. I think in like Illinois or something. She has a clinic or something. So shady, so weird. Oh my God. Yeah, no, seriously, Lucian. I just Google it. It's like, yeah. She has like a lab or like something like that. So anyway, okay. So tell us about Wilbur Ross and what's going to happen to Wilbur Ross as a result of the Mueller investigation. I mean, not to say like he's going to die soon, but like, what is Mueller going to find out about Wilbur Ross as a result of the investigation? Okay, what's the role of Wilbur Ross in all of this? Okay, what's Wilbur Ross's role in all of this? What's Wilbur Ross's role in all of this? What's Wilbur Ross's role in all of this? Yeah. What's Wilbur Ross's role? What's gonna Mueller find out? Okay. Let me just get started. Okay, so interesting because here is like a person in position of power. I don't know if it's him, but it could be. But this is a snake, so he's presented as a snake. So it's like he probably works for, could be, I don't know, Trump or Putin. But I feel like this is like when a snake appears in these readings, I feel like obviously they're all snakes, so you could say that. But I think it's also indicative that this person is a double agent of some sort. Okay. And okay. Now we have here a lot of disagreement and competition. Look at his key to this disagreement and competition. And there's like disharmony, but he's a loyalist. It's interesting. I feel like, I wonder what this means. we'll look at the bigger story. And this is Russia again, and Russia is, okay. I'm sorry, guys. I just got a pop-up, automatic pop-up from oh my God, from Patreon saying that the maximum is 2 hours, but I think we're not there yet. It's just 90 minutes, so 120 minutes. Anyway, so okay, so guys, so anyway, so apathy and Russia. So you know what? I feel like he's the go-between or something like that. Okay. And he's the key person behind the scenes. This is a card behind the scenes. So key. He's a key here. And that's why he's a snake too, I think. Now, this is weird because I feel like, I don't know, I'll tell you guys, but this is an emperor. This is Trump, emperor upside down. He's like, you know, the person who abuses power, and a coffin. Now, I feel like, I'll just show you. Let me show you this here. First, the left side. So this is a loyal person that is privy to, like, I feel like there's a lot of disharmony and there's conflict and competition. He is in this world, okay? And Russia is not happy. There's an unhappy lady here. Somehow he knows this or is aware of this. So he's part of this group of people who are not loyal, but there's a lot of disagreements, a lot of bickering among them. And this makes Russia unhappy. Now, the interesting part here is that he's a key. Now, I said before that the key sometimes can mean that he's a witness. I don't know, but basically, he's a key snake. And something about him leads to Trump's ending, okay? He's a key to the end of the snake. And that at heart, like who he really is that he's a person who handles offers, okay? He makes offers or handles offers of some sort. And he knows about secret finances, okay? Interesting because, you know, accounting is, you call it the books. So yeah, the books, he knows the secret shady accountings. And like, this is interesting because at the very end, this is a high priestess is a very interesting card that means something not yet known. So something's going to come out. We don't know about it yet, about the network. So I think, you know what, he's key to this network. He's like at heart, he handles the offer. And I feel like kind of like, yeah, he handles some sort of offers to the network, or like the secret network, okay? At heart, he's almost like it's like a person who accepts or not offers to this network or something like that. He knows a lot about this financial network. Secret, also financial secrets related to this network, okay, that's going to come out. And yeah, and I feel like just to bring up a few, because I think I may not know all the details, and it's interesting. I'll show you what I think is quite interesting here. Is that it's showing very strongly that there's disagreements, and then there's this group of people that they're very unstable in a way. Like, I feel like maybe it's, you know, we know that people who work with Trump don't like him either, or like that Trump is not doing what they want. So this is like unhappy Russia comes to an end, or like creates the end of Trump, maybe. Okay, ending of this woman or some relationship with this woman, with the emperor. And now we have through this network. So I feel like they were connected through some network that was very pro-Russia, but I think Russia got upset and maybe put an ending to this network in some way. Okay. And then the snake, I mean, this is interesting because I somehow, okay, I'm going to ask a little bit more, but you see here, there's like a look, like when you look into the disagreements or the competition, competitive dynamics, this guy works for the both sides. So I feel like he's there working for Trump, but maybe he's just like somebody who's on the lookout. Okay, he's a snake. So snake is always two sides, like I said. Through the financial, he knows the secret financial transactions, I think. Okay, and this makes sense if he's in the board of directors of a bank. So I feel like he knows these things. And he's a key loyalist here to the heart of this group. Okay, he's a key to their values or something. You know, and I feel like, oh my God, you know, guys, oh my God, this is kind of crazy. Like sometimes I get this, but it's like, this is like, I get him in a meeting, okay, that I think this group, their interest is in how to like make money laundering legal. Or like how to transfer this money around, because that's the challenge for the Russians. Is like they want to be able to transfer this money around all over the world, but they can't. Okay, so I feel like that's kind of like his problem. Like his problem in the sense of like in a good way. Like, oh, this is a problem that you have to solve for this company. Figure out how we can transfer money, like, you know, money laundering money legally or something. So I feel like he's key to these things. He wants to solve these problems. Okay, so let's see if he's going to go to jail or what's going to happen to him. Okay. Yeah, I think something's going to happen to him, guys. Yeah, totally. Because I feel like, yeah, like at the center, he's a fox. Okay. Because I almost thought, oh, does it mean that he works for Mueller? Like, you know, if he's a snake, could he be working for Mueller? If he's a key, could he? No, I think because he gets like, I'll show you. I just pulled the Lenormand, so I'm going to show you. This is easier. So this is from the left. So the man is guilty man. Gets a letter, probably an indictment or something, okay? Or maybe documents that prove that he is this card, if you haven't seen it. Guilty card, the cross. And the man, so guilty man gets a letter of some sort of communication. And then, what was it here? Oh yeah, okay. And then this is government, could also be legal. So behind the government's back is doing something shady related to money behind the government's back. Okay. And then, yeah, the gifts create serious long-term problems for him. Because through corruption. So yeah, I just feel like he's not gonna get away so easily. Okay, so just putting these together here. The guilty man gets a letter because he does shady things behind the government's back related to large quantities of money. And these gifts could be bribes, create long-term problems because of their corrupt nature, okay? And then I think, because I was like, oh, maybe he got a deal from Mueller or something like that, like, no. And so here, I think if we look at the top, yeah, so man and government gets gifts, probably corruption. And then guilty fox has long-term problems. And then letter related to lots of money indicates corruption or comes as a result of corruption. So he's going to get indicted or something like that. Okay, either I think he's going to get indicted in some way if there's a letter that indicates his guilt. Okay. All right, guys. So that's that. Okay. So it's been 100 minutes. So 1 hour, 40 minutes. I think that was interesting. Yeah, I feel like tonight's reading was very concise. There was like a lot of material, but I think it was very like, one subject, like one area. I think it was important to look at it like this. Okay. So, and I feel like more and more, if I got anything out of today, obviously we got a lot of information, hard to process everything, is that yeah, that the money stuff, they're seeing all the connections. So it's going to be very hard for them to escape once the money connections have been drawn, that have been like established. Okay. So that's that, guys. All right. So that was tonight's reading, money laundering special. All right. I'm going to create summary and then post the video probably later on tonight or tomorrow. But I think probably like tonight or tomorrow. Okay. All right. Bye, guys. Good night.